Hi, good afternoon. I'm glad you're here. It's Thursday, March 19th, 2026. How do we have I don't know, man. Here's the thing. It's on my mind. It's been on my mind, right? That is the current president's supporters, ex-supporters, previous supporters, all of those people. What do we do? I don't know. I think it's too soon. Maybe I shouldn't, you know, need to have an answer for that one for myself. This is for myself. I don't know. Do you open that door? Do you try to mend fences? Do you Now look, I have family. So that's who I'm thinking of, right? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's one who's still diehard and probably will never. My mother's brother died recently. I'm pretty sure he died supporting this guy. And about 4 days later, we were doing what we're doing in Iran. Uh, and the last time I spoke to him was about 10 years ago. I said I couldn't believe that he voted for this guy. Republicans staying true to their whatever the hell, man. Their party loyalties, it's the this dumb idea that it's a moral authority, or that, the GOP has the moral authority, that they're the church-going crowd, that I don't know what, man. Anti-abortion and hateful towards the queer community, and that is unacceptable to me. So I don't know. Are there people out there who voted for him the third time based on economics, and everybody else be damned? Like, were they just not willing to pay attention? My dog keeps scratching on the door. Can you give me a second? You're annoying. All right. Sorry. The hell was I saying? Oh, the third time people. Like after January 6th. I was home. I saw that on live television. We know what happened. My husband knows a jackass who was there. That blew my mind, that anybody around here would spend good money like on a politician. Like, it's not even like a bucket list music show. It blows my mind. It's too soon, I think. Deeds, not words, I guess. And a track record. I'm not generally hostile towards people anyway. I'm perfectly, polite, you know? What am I going to do? You know? I don't know what the answer is. But this is what I'll say about that. It's their work to do. It's theirs to do. We can give them the room and the space to do it. But they have to be willing to do it, right? And I can't do it for them. They need to do that. Part of me being out here. Okay, so I made the decision, and then you start wrapping your head around what the hell does a person post? I can post, I'm planting, here's my backyard, here's what we're cooking up today that's fairly reasonable in money, right? It's an inexpensive something dinner. But more than that, I started thinking about my kids, what I leave behind, what they can view later. Sometimes there are candid conversations that kids just don't have with their parents. I don't know. I think when we're all just all by ourselves, we are our own self, our true self. And so my kids might not always be privy to that. They can know my mind. It's not a secret. I talk to them. But do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And then my mother stepped in and she watches. She likes the planting videos. They're quiet. They're calming, right? It's 20, 30 minutes of the not scrolling through the downward trajectory that the planet is on. Oh, okay. So, but I was thinking about it. But more than that, random people are going to see this. And I feel a need to dispel this myth about people on the left. I mean, dude, there's all fucking types, man. All kinds. But, there's no, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't live on the East Coast or the West Coast. I don't live on a coast. I don't have a bunch of money. I don't have a trust fund. I didn't go to Berkeley. I'm not a granola. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a big fan of public school. It's desperately underfunded. But, Reagan convinced everybody, that little joke of his, "Hello, ma'am. I'm from the government and I'm here to help," while he was getting paid to be the president. While he's in charge of the government, he's kicking it in the teeth and talking about how shit it is. I had a former colleague. Those first 4 years, who was going off about the government and all the government. Jesus Christ. My mom worked for the state, for the Department of Labor. My dad worked for the county. He was in social services, the director. And the colleague I'm talking about, too, at the time, was a public school teacher. And she started to rail again. And I got a stepbrother who works in the city, like, right? So for me, she started saying, well, everybody in the government, they're all crooked, they're all out there with their hands out. And I'm like, is that why you went into public school? Because you're just a grifter? All those state and local workers. Oh, you don't mean that government. You just mean the one that you voted the guy in for? And then I look out at all of what has taken place. Civil rights, women bleeding to death, doctors and physicians, hospitals, nurses. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Number one, you mostly stayed silent. And number two, you turned them away. This business with immigration, the exploitation of labor all the way down. Companies don't have to pay minimum wage, right? Even now, the new proposal is $1 an hour, and they can take that's slave labor. When they can take like the amount of money that would cost to house the person, so the employer can house a migrant worker, pay them $1 an hour, and then subtract that $1 an hour for rent. We've been here before. That is some shit people were doing back in the turn of the last century, in the early 1900s, in the late 1800s. There's a reason why we have labor laws. And we've outlawed slavery because that is a sin. That is a sin. You cannot own another human being. Not for any kind of reason. Besides, all it does is tell me that you're a lazy cuss who can't do your shit yourself. It's exploitation. Nobody else on this planet is responsible for propping up somebody else's business. If you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about capitalism in general, but I'm all over the place. I apologize. I'm just chewing on this quandary of the problem with regretting your vote. If you happen to find your way into my channel and you're here listening to this, even if I was the most forgiving person on the planet, and by and large, I'll be honest with you, I think forgiveness is just a made-up concept. It's not a real thing. It was invented to get people to forgive harm. I don't believe it's a real thing. Okay, but let's imagine that I was the most forgiving person, and I said, all are welcome. Come on in. Kumbaya. We'll sit down. We'll have dinner. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change a thing. He's still in charge. He's still striking other countries. He's still threatening wholesale takeover, 51st state bullshit. They're still rounding up people. I don't even think they're sending people off. I think they're just housing them until those people are right. We've been here before. I mean, not just as Americans, but as human beings. And we don't seem to learn this lesson. Yeah, so I don't know what the answer is with them. More time. I think for me, that's what it is. You know, perhaps I can stop lashing out. But I'm a whole person and I'm entitled to all of my feelings. And anger is the correct response. Grief is the correct response. Disappointment, fucking grief. My God, you did this to all of us, but also like people I've known and loved who chose him over their own family, their closest friends sometimes. It's a hell of a betrayal. And it's been relentless and persistent. Not that anybody, just in case anybody was curious. I don't know, man. My mother was over earlier today. She said she's worried. She's not worried. She's adamant that she's not going to live long enough to see things get better, because they will get worse before they get better. We talked about voting and our last names having changed and what we're going to have to do and crawl over glass. And, you know, I did what I could to, okay, so let's game this out. Let's say that they pass this dumbass act. States have the rights to, anyway, okay. So a few states will absolutely appeal, and that shit will take some time. I just don't believe that there is enough time between now and November. People are already voting. There are primaries happening. Like, I just don't see how implementation could happen by November. But that doesn't mean we can't be prepared. Well, she has a passport. Like, I'm pretty sure she still has one. So, you know, it's a mess. It's a mess. And so if people are regretting their vote, man, I'm too busy trying to wade through your mess. Yeah. There are other people in my life who need help. They need help. I don't know. There are too many, I have too many conditions that I'm not willing to give up on. Human rights. For everyone, for all. And I'm not willing to budge on that one. Because we've been here before. Because every time there's a civil rights movement, then somehow some fascism rises up, and now everybody's got to fight that. And so we got to put all that shit on the back burner. Time and time again. And I'm not willing to do it. In any case, days are getting longer. We're going to be planting a garden. Or 3. and do what we can. Yeah, I don't think I can have an answer. I think it's too early. And I think there's far too many of them that are still, I don't know. I don't know. It's too dangerous. You know? I don't feel like getting shivved under the ribs. And as soon as gas prices come down, are they going to go run back into their daddy's arms? Time. Time. Anyway, to my viewers, I'm so glad you're here. You have a good day.